I told you it's gonna work out. I told you it's gonna work out. That's what my future self is gonna tell me because I do worry a lot. I do hold myself back because of the fact that I'm not classically trained. I didn't go to school for fashion. And I kind of hold myself back because I don't know how to do certain things and I might not do it the most conventional way possible. But at the end of the day, my mantra is it's gonna work out because you're crazy. So yeah, my future self would tell me it's gonna work out, and it worked out. Introduce yourself. Who are you, and what do you do? Mabuhay. My name's Kay, and I'm a fashion designer, content creator. Sometimes I'm awful at filming myself, but I try to. I try to. All right. You were born and raised in the Philippines and moved to America at 20. What was that experience like for you? How has it shaped who you are today? It wasn't really like that big of like a cultural shock for me. Just because growing up, I was used to seeing a lot of American media. You know, I love SpongeBob. I have Doodlebub right here. He's my favorite. Growing up, watch like shows like iCarly, anything Nickelodeon. I was a Nickelodeon baby. Um, so moving here really wasn't that difficult, and I think it helped that I already knew how to speak in English. And what I'd say like the biggest challenge was maybe getting used to a lot of the accents here, especially moving to West Virginia. Moved to West Virginia. I really wasn't. I didn't know what to expect. So all I knew was my dad told me that it was kind of like the countryside, a lot of mountains, but the place where I grew up in the Philippines is also kind of like that, mountainous, a lot of trees, pretty cool climate. So I really didn't know what to expect and took an internship here. I thought America was New York, you know, skyscrapers, big buildings, very busy streets and scene. But I moved to rural West Virginia, so that was a little bit of a shock. And it was, I think, a year after a big flood happened in that area, so it was a little bit of a shock in that sense. But apart from that, it really wasn't. I, maybe a little bit of homesick, you know, here and there, because I was 20. I really didn't know what I was doing. But looking back now, as a 28-year-old, that was a pretty crazy move. Like, I mean, 20, fresh off of college, moving to a completely different place, like thousands of miles away from what I'm used to. So after I graduated college, I was looking for other opportunities everywhere, and I seen an opportunity to have an internship here in America, and the Greenbrier was one of the few choices that I had, but I didn't know anything about West Virginia at all. My dad used to work in a cruise ship as a chef, and he's been to America a few times, and he told me, "Oh, you're gonna be in the country, a lot of cowboys, cowboy hats, and stuff like that." But apart from those little facts, I did not know anything about West Virginia. I didn't even know it was like four seasons. I know I packed a few big jackets just because I knew it was gonna be a little bit colder, but it was supposed to be just a year of internship, and then I met my husband, and we've been together since, and I've been in West Virginia since. Looking back at it now, it is a pretty crazy move, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did it. You mentioned that always seeing people who look like you or share your experiences where you live. What has it been like navigating that? Um, it's been a little difficult, like not gonna lie, especially when I started pursuing fashion. So being a person of color, pursuing art in a place where it's really almost like not heard of. I go around, I don't see a lot of people that look like me, period, and let alone people that look like me that pursue fashion. So it was definitely difficult, but looking back at it now, I feel like I've always known that I was into fashion. So the moment, actually, all started with my husband getting an iPad. And just one day, I just picked up the iPad, I started drawing, and then started designing clothes. And I was like, wait, this is kind of fun. And in that same year, my mother-in-law bought me a sewing machine, and then it's history from there. And I've started doing fashion. I started upcycling things, just messing around with some clothes that I already own, and because I love watching Project Runway too. I love people. I love seeing people make something out of simple fabric, and that's what really pushed me to go through with it, even if I don't see a lot of people that look like me pursue that industry. When I started doing content on TikTok and Instagram, I started with just posting, OOTDs or my outfits or like fit checks, and I started posting a lot of my creative process on how I make things. And for some reason, a lot of my viewers are usually from California, Hawaii, and a lot of people think that I'm from that general area too, because I guess most Filipinos, most Southeast Asians, they're very prominent in that general area. So a lot of people think that I'm from that area as well, and posting on TikTok and Instagram kind of build that community for me, and push me to just keep on doing what I'm doing. And there is kind of like a space for me. But yeah, and then eventually I just over the past couple years I started reaching a lot more local, kind of like my For You page. My videos have been popping up more locally, and I've been meeting more creatives in the area. So it just goes to show that there will always be space for everyone, and if there's no space for you, then you make it. And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned pursuing fashion in a small town in rural West Virginia. And but yeah, that's what I hold on to, is there will always be space for me, no matter where I am, and there will always be space for everyone. All right, let's see. Oh, how do you get into fashion? And is your work inspired by your Filipino roots? What story are you trying to tell through your art? When I first started pursuing fashion here, I kind of asked myself, like, has this always been a thing that you've always wanted to do, or it just came out of nowhere? And now looking back at it, I've realized that I've always been into fashion. Like growing up with my mom, we'd always thrift together, and looking back at my old photos, I realized that this is not the first time I've upcycled a clothing or cut up my t-shirt or put holes in my jeans, stuff like that. And but yeah, I think a part of me trying to incorporate my Filipino roots into my art is trying to introduce that culture in a place where it's not really seen. Because I've met a lot of people who don't even know where the Philippines is. Some people think it's in somewhere in Puerto Rico or somewhere in. Some people don't even know that it's in Asia. But yeah, I think that's also kind of like a motivation for me, um, showing people where I'm from and introducing a little bit of who I am in my art, just so more people know about who we are. It's kind of like my introducing people that don't know who I am and where I'm from through my art. So that's one of my biggest things. I have been making a lot of our traditional garments in the Philippines. That's one of my biggest hits on TikTok is like they're called barongs. So it's a traditional Filipino attire. It's usually made from organza, see-through fabrics, piña fabric. So I've made a lot of those over the past couple years here, and it also kind of gives other Filipinos here in America kind of, oh, we have it here in America. We don't have to go home to get it because there's a designer here in West Virginia where I can get something that would remind me of where I'm from. So that's also kind of like a huge thing when it comes to my brand. It's called Bebot from 304. So Bebot just is essentially like a slang term for really a baddie, essentially a baddie. And I wanted to added the 304 there because I'm a plant in West Virginia, and that's been a part of who I am as well. So I'm just a Filipino in West Virginia, and that's kind of what my brand is. And yeah. Right. Let's see. What is your mission, and what do you love most about what you do? I think my mission is just to get better at doing fashion. I'm a self-taught fashion designer, so I went to YouTube University and TikTok University, and really just trying stuff out. A lot of trial and error, and I think really like what I want for myself is to be a more seasoned fashion designer, to represent the Philippines as well here, and be that representation that a lot of little Filipinos there, a lot of little Southeast Asian people there do not see a lot here. So yeah, really mastering my craft and being that representation for other creatives that look like me. What I love the most is what I do. So I do a lot of upcycling. So I usually go to thrift stores. Buy. I use a lot of denim. So I buy a lot of denim. I essentially turn them into something completely different. I turn jeans into corsets, mini skirts, other stuff like that. I think what I love the most is seeing what this garment looked before and what I have transformed it to. I feel like there's a level of satisfaction that I get whenever I turn something that would be considered trash, or something that you just don't yeah, something that is considered trash into something beautiful. So I think that's what I like the most about my creative process. And also, I doing fashion for a few years now, I've also realized the impact of fashion in our environment. So really, make showing people that upcycling is fashion, and upcycling is the future, really, and to encourage more people to upcycle and to support people who upcycle. So, right. All right, let's see. If your younger self was here with us right now, what would you say to him? We made it. No, okay. You probably didn't expect that to see yourself in this space now, because growing up in a Filipino household, you're either a nurse or you're a chef. Filipinos know that because I don't know. Filipino parents just love sending their kids to nursing school or to chef school. There's no in between. And growing up, I have had a lot of chefs in my family, so that's what I did in college too, culinary and hospitality. So yeah, I'd say to my younger self, you might be surprised where you're at now, but you're right where you need to be. You're right where you need to be. And if your future self was here with us, what would he tell you to stop holding back? I told you it's going to work out. I told you it's going to work out. That's what my future self is going to tell me, because I do worry a lot. I do hold myself back because of the fact that I'm not classically trained. I didn't go to school for fashion. And I kind of hold myself back because I don't know how to do certain things, and I might not do it the most conventional way possible. But at the end of the day, my mantra is it's gonna work out because you're crazy. So yeah, my future self would tell me it's gonna work out, and it worked out. What is the biggest lesson life is teaching you right now? Trust your art. Listen to yourself, and yeah, what other people say, don't get me wrong. What other people say does matter. Feedback from other people does matter. But at the end of the day, just trust your art, trust your gut, because there's a lot of things you can learn from listening. But if you stay true to your core and to who you are as a person or as an artist, it'll work out. It'll work out. So listening to feedback is important, but at the same time, just stick to your gut. Just stick to your gut. Like for me, when I do need feedback, when I make designs, I ask the internet, I ask my husband, I ask my family, my friends. But ultimately, like um, biggest designs that I've made because I listened to myself. So let's see. What are you learning to love about yourself? Huh, that's a great question. I want to say like being more unapologetic and just really trusting myself, I think, is the biggest thing lately that I've been learning. Because again, being self-taught and not seeing a lot of my representation, I think just pushing through all that and trusting myself, my instinct, and trusting that I can do it, I'd say would be something that I'm really learning to love about myself lately. Because getting over that fear, getting over the doubts, um, is what was what put me where I am right now, and I'm in a very good place, and I can't ask for anything else. So, all right, how's it felt to be seen in this way today? It feels great. It feels great. It feels really good. It's my first time being in a podcast, being interviewed, and it's nice to be heard and also to be seen. Because like what I said, I don't see a lot of myself in a lot of media. So being seen today is just it just feels good because I know that somebody that looks like me will somehow see this and would see themselves in me and say that, oh wow, he's doing something, so I could probably do something for myself too. So yeah, it feels great. It feels great. No complaints. No complaints. My biggest takeaway is probably that representation matters. Representation matters, and there will always be space for everyone. And if there's not a space, then you make that space. You make that space. You claim your space, and frankly, we're not going anywhere. So yeah, biggest takeaway: there will always be space for you, for me, for everyone. Any final thoughts? Um, Actually, funny story. So I will be part of Willing Fashion Week tomorrow, Friday, and I've been preparing for this fashion week for essentially the entire year. Because when I did it last year, I knew for a fact that I was going to do it again this year, and it's going to be in the same day. I mean, it's going to be at least in the same month, so I knew it's going to be in June. So after the fashion week ended last year, I was like, I'm gonna have to start working on another collection again. So after that, I've been working on this collection for months now, and I'm essentially ready. And I found out a couple days before the fashion show, that I'm being summoned for jury duty. Jury duty. There's 365 days in a year, and then they decide to summon me on the same day as my fashion show. So I was crying, I was freaking out, I was emailing the courthouse. I was like, listen, this is my Airbnb, this is the schedule of events. We've been looking forward to this fashion show for almost a year now. I need to get out of this. And right before this interview, just literally maybe an hour before this interview, I emailed them. I was like, "Hey, um, do I have do I have to go to jury duty? Am I excused?" And they said, um, No, the court has been canceled, and the lady was so sweet. She was like, "The court has been canceled. Um, go, go rock it on your fashion show. Go represent West Virginia." And I was like, "Oh, I told you it's gonna work out. It's gonna work out." It always does. It always does. So, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Tally. It's a pleasure.